Today I want to talk about an interesting project called MetaDAO, and me and Mr. Kitty here are going to be talking about MetaDAO, going over what it is, how it works, and also a little bit about it. But I'm currently abroad right now, so I'm not in my normal setup, so we're just going to go off the screen here. So let's get started. We're going to be talking about MetaDAO. So first things first, this is an interesting project that I came across fairly recently. And there's a few things that have made this project interesting for me as a low cap investor. So first of all, MetaDAO is a project on Solana. Currently, it has a market cap of $126 million with a total supply of 20.8 million Meta currently circulating. And along with that, there is also no max supply from what I could find. Same thing with CoinGecko, and just kind of looking around in their docs, I couldn't find anything about that. So the max supply appears to be infinite at this point, and that could be a cause for concern in the future. But I think this project has fair tokenomics right now, and the ethos about this project to me actually don't scream that they are just going to print unlimited tokens for no reason like most other projects do, and I'll go over different reasons as to why that is in just a second. Now, overall, taking a look at the chart has been doing very well really since October, just pumping, and it's maintained a pretty fair price around $5 to $6, hovering in the zone of around 93 million, pumping all the way up to 200 million. So it's kind of maintained this zone here. It's also not listed on any centralized exchange. So to have this volume in this current market where a lot of other microcaps have pretty much just fallen off a cliff, this looks pretty good. So instead of traditional token holder voting like typical DAOs are, so MetaDAO uses a governance model called Futarchy. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's a decision-making process driven by prediction markets. So basically for any proposal, a pass and a fail market are created, and participants then buy shares in what they believe is the more value-adding outcome. So basically, if the market consensus expects the proposal to raise Meta's value, then it passes, and then if it's the opposite, it fails. So MetaDAO also acts as a fundraising and a launch platform for crypto projects, which gets me quite excited as a low-cap investor. And so it's a place basically for founders to raise funds if they want to and launch tokens in a more aligned and transparent way compared to basically just many standard ICO launch pad routes, right? Most of them don't really do that well, but taking a look at some of the projects here, for example, Avicii, we can take a look at this project. This had its initial TGE on the open market in October of this year of 2025. And I mean, look at this. I mean, all the way from under $1 to over $5.60. That's pretty good when most of the market has been in a downturn. And so this was a recent launch, and the market cap is already at $73.5 million as well, with 100% of the supply circulating. So the FTV is the same as the market cap, which is also a good sign. Which, when it comes to my personal investing, I do love projects that have 100% circulating supplies. And when it comes to MetaDAO, they say that community ownership matters. Projects grow faster when they have an army of bag holders supporting them. So Hyperliquid distributed 33% of its supply to its users, its perp volume 6x'd. Yearn distributed 100% of its supply to early users, and subsequently rose from an 8 million TVL project to a 6 billion TVL project without incentives. MegaETH sold tokens in an echo round to 2,900 people. Its Kaido mindshare 15x'd. So most tokens are done poorly. There's rampant insider dealings that have led to a loss of trust, right? Hidden OTC deals, special insider payouts to your favorite KOLs to just dump all over your face. The tokens themselves have very little fundamental value as well. Nothing stops revenue from flowing to the team or a lapsed entity. And this is one thing that's really just made me mad when you kind of think of it, because like you invest in these projects and you're paying the tax, right? Most of the projects, like utility projects, will start out with a buy-sell tax, and you're funding the project, but then at the end of the day, you're just paying for the team and potentially getting left holding the bag. And they're essentially a startup company. You're raising all the funds for them, but you don't get to taste any of the equity like you would had you maybe bought some of the equity, like for example, in actual shares. That's the one thing about crypto that's kind of annoyed me in recent times. Also, front-loaded demand and back-loaded supply contribute to structurally lower prices over time because they generally launch at high FTV, low floats, right? So the price moves immediately in pumps, and most of the supply is vested over 2 to 3 years, and these tokens need a large amount of incremental buy pressure to maintain their prices. This is why I'm bearish on these projects like Aptos, for example, and I'm going to be making more videos about some of the projects I am bearish about, because there's projects like these that just print unlimited supplies. Meanwhile, their market caps get bigger over time, but the actual price of the token do not. And they just print unlimited amount of their own internet money and just dump it on the face of all the investors. The model is truly broken. So MetaDAO is for founders who want to launch a token the right way. So you can fair launch early. So instead of launching at a high FDV, projects launch early with high float ICOs so they can grow over time. That is great. That makes me excited as an investor, honestly. There is real ownership and unruggability. So the most important parts of the project, the intellectual property, the funds, and the ability to mint new tokens are controlled by market-driven governance. And then there's pay for performance. So insider unlocks are proportional to the premium over the launch price. So this keeps teams and participants aligned. That's also a great thing. All of this gets me very excited. Now, honestly, I'm not much of a Solana investor. I mostly invest in projects on ETH and also Base. I'm loving Base recently, and I think Base is going to do very well long term. But this is a project that does get me excited, and I hope that more ETH projects and Base projects actually go this way as well in terms of this model, this ethos, right, of a project. I think it's very good. So the current system with TGEs is honestly broken, right, when it comes to insiders, when it comes to how they launch a project with high FDV, low float projects, and then they just start printing tokens to, infinity. Like, the system is broken and it needs a better way. And there needs to be a good system for fair launching tokens. And it looks like MetaDAO is one of those projects that could lead the way to do just that on Solana. By the way, I also don't even like DAOs for the most part, because, when it comes to traditional DAOs, they often really suffered from low participation. There was voter manipulation. That was a huge thing, or like whale control. And this whole system with Futarchy tries to basically overcome that by making decisions through financial incentives and prediction markets. But I think what's really good here is that because proposal success depends on expected token value outcomes, teams and token holders are theoretically aligned. So there's good decisions that are going to increase the token value, and it's going to also reward those who back them. For example, in some of these projects like Avicii, which launched through MetaDAO. Avicii, by the way, seems to be a pretty cool project when it comes to having a crypto card and a crypto account where you can, have funds, spend them, etc. And, taking a look at the reviews on, for example, the App Store, it has pretty good reviews as well. So it seems like a very good card. It seems like a really good project as well. So to see that, this project has launched multiple other projects that are doing pretty well in terms of price action when we are in more bearish times, this makes me excited. So overall, this is a project that I've recently been pretty excited about, and I'm hoping that some Ethereum projects kind of adopt this model as well, because the current system is honestly broken. It needs to be fixed. It needs a good fair launch system. And as a low cap degenerate investor myself, this definitely interests me. So that's all for this one. If you want to join my school group where I post all things small gems, pre-TGE projects, so before they're even live, and also I have a 3-hour video training on how to find small gems, then join my school group in the description down below. Also, if you're interested in one-on-one consulting, book a call at thecryptogemsmethod.com. You'll find it in the link in the description below. That's all for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.